Hey everybody, it's me, Daniel Hutchins, and today we are doing an article again from our friend, Den of Geek. Yes, Den of Geek. So today from Den of Geek, we're visiting Star Wars again, guys. Yes, Star Wars. So how Star Wars Ahsoka's Anakin return could validate the biggest change to the original trilogy. Now, Hayden Christensen will return as Anakin Skywalker in the upcoming Star Wars Ahsoka Disney Plus series, but how is this possible? That's a good question. Well, this was from a couple days ago, guys. So the prequel era is back in full force. Not only will we see the return of Ewan McGregor in next year's Obi-Wan Kenobi limited series, but also Hayden Christensen, either reprising his role as Anakin Skywalker or in a flashback vision or as Darth Vader, as never before seen confrontation with his old master. Now, either way, though, y'all, McGregor and Christensen's first seen together since 2005 Revenge of the Sith will be the hugest moment on Disney Plus in 2022, y'all. But you remember the Battle of Mustafar, y'all. That is like totally childhood nostalgic, man. But Christensen's Star Wars comeback isn't stopping right there, though. THR reports that this actor will also appear in upcoming Ahsoka series opposite Rosario Dawson, who, although is again unclear whether he'll show up as a troubled Jedi hero or the Sith monster he became after parting ways with his former Padawan. Either way, Christensen's debut in the post-original trilogy's era does present some very interesting possibility for what this could mean for Star Wars as the whole. Now remember that Ahsoka will take place during the same era as The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, which are set 5 years after Return of the Jedi, otherwise known as ROTJ, otherwise known as Return of the Jedi, like I said. But anyway, this means Darth Vader has been canonically dead for half the decade when this show begins, and that Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka now knows that news ceased to exist over 20 years ago. So how is Christensen's return even possible? Now, this is a very great question for all you guys who are into theories. Alright, so on we go about Anakin versus Ahsoka. So there are already quite a few theories out there on the web, y'all. On the World Wide Web, there's tons of theories. One is that Ahsoka and Anakin will reunite in a flashback, either during their time as Master and Padawan, or in the Clone Wars, or as rivals in the Age of the Empire. Now, this later scenario is one Ahsoka showrunner Dave Filoni, has first dreamed up as the Rebels animated series. Now, it was on that show that Ahsoka learned that of her master's fate over after Order 66 and has came face to face with Darth Vader for the first time. Now, delivering this heart-wrenching moment fans have steeled themselves in for since the final days of the Clone Wars, while their duel inside this ancient Sith temple remains one of their best, almost awesomest, most badass, most legendary moments of Star Wars history. But it has no clear winner though, y'all. But after this duel, Ahsoka spent years inside a mystical plane known as the World Between Worlds, while she, was on her exile. But of course, it's long stories that involve time travel, which is meant to retroactively explain why she wasn't in the original trilogy, before finally resurfacing in the Rebels epilogue set after the fall of the Empire. Now, it's during this epilogue that Ahsoka has set on her quest to find Grand Admiral Thrawn, a journey she's still on right now with the Mandalorian, and presumably in her solo series. But we don't know exactly when Ahsoka escaped the World Between Worlds, so it's quite possible that she had to rematch Vader just before the dramatic events of Return of the Jedi. And before the villain faced Luke for the final time, the flashback to the second duels between the two, this time in live-action sequence, would certainly be the most early defining moments for the show. Now, Anakin's Force Ghost. Okay, so there's lots of theories about Anakin's Force Ghost, y'all. But there's another less convoluted way in which Christensen could appear in Ahsoka, though as the Force Ghost that visit Dawson's Jedi for an overdue heart-to-heart moment. But it wouldn't come out as the left field either, y'all. But after all, Christensen has appeared as the Force Ghost once before, thanks to one of George Lucas's most controversial changes from the original trilogy. Yep, so while in the 1997 special edition digital remaster of the original trilogy saw Lucas make the heaviest change to his beloved movies, his fervor tinkering around with the 2004 DVD re-releases of the films resulted in his most egregious tweaks in his eyes to many of their fans, but replacing original Anakin actor Sebastian Shaw with Hayden Christensen for this final scene of Return of the Jedi. Now, it's this scene that Luke meets the pre-Vader form of his father for this first time, accompanied by the ghost of Obi-Wan and Yoda. Of course, y'all. And so, depending on who you ask, this massive change either makes canonical sense or in one addition too many. Sure, it does make sense that Anakin's Force Ghost appears to Luke in his Jedi form after killing off the Emperor to save his son. Anakin's redeemed, and his Force Ghost reflects as the goodness that was inside Vader all this time. But that could be why we see Anakin as he was in his Jedi days, although he never wore those particular robes from the prequel trilogy. He always never wore brown and tan robes, he always wore brown and black robes. But anyway, but it can also be argued that Christensen's cameo is a bit distracting and strips the final scenes of the emotional payoff or send-off of his character. But just a few minutes before the party on Endor, buddy, yoo-hoo, Endor. So Luke has unmasked his dying father as he's seen his real face for the first and final time. And it's Shaw's heavily scarred face Luke meets, not Christensen's. So when Luke later sees Shaw's unmarred face from the final scene, it's an emotional, impactful moment for both father and son. And particularly one of the weirdest moments for Luke, by far, but who finally gets to see the version of his father he knew as the good man he always hoped he'd be. To some, replacing Shaw with Christensen robs the final scene of some of that meaning. But it doesn't fucking matter who you have as Anakin Skywalker at the end of the Force Ghost moment of party on Endor, man. You gotta have, as long as it's, Anakin in some sort of form or another, there's really no reason to bitch all about because you just replacing the forms of the actors of Anakin. I just think that's fucking dumb, though. But Ahsoka is a different story, though. It makes much more sense for Ahsoka to see her former master, as she's known him, as the face of Hayden Christensen, before his gruesome transformation on Mustafar. Now, it would also make sense that Christensen's Return of the Jedi cameo feels a little less like an awkward retcons, for more like the true canonical version of Anakin's Force Ghost he was meant to be, with apologies to Mr. Shaw. Now, perhaps his appearance in Ahsoka could even provide an in-universe explanation as to how and why Force Ghost looks so young Anakin and not the old man who died on the Death Star. It's called de-ageification, assholes. It's de-aging. It's basically using de-aging technology to kind of, change it back to your younger self. That's what that is. But it's like with Hamill and Shaw in Return of the Jedi. Now, Christensen's Anakin reunited with Ahsoka will bring real gravitas to the show. But here's Ahsoka's chance to not only spend time with Anakin the way she remembers him as, but also to find her own peace. When Ahsoka learned that Anakin became Darth Vader in Rebels, she felt guilty that she hadn't been around to try save him from turning to the dark side. Not that Anakin's baggage has ever been Ahsoka's problem. It goes a long way to explain why she spent so much time trying to find Ezra Bridger, the missing Jedi who was sucked in to hyperspace with Thrawn on Rebels. Now maybe for Ahsoka, saving Ezra means making up for her inability to save Anakin. Well, maybe, but ultimately we're not sure where Ahsoka's path is heading. But as we know, Anakin fits into it after all this time. But we're looking forward to finding out, and Ahsoka hits Disney Plus in the next few years. Few years. While you wait, check out the complete schedules of the upcoming Star Wars movies and TV shows here on our friend Den of Geek. So let me know what your thoughts are, man, about Anakin Skywalker, possibly Hayden Christensen returning back to into the lights of Ahsoka and also an Obi-Wan. Let me know your thoughts. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.